reservation is another extremely sensitive topic in our country. And unfortunately, it's largely seen from a political lens. Actually, it is more of an affirmative action. And especially when you look at Dalits or people from the scheduled caste or scheduled tribe, many of them they're also far below in the socio-economic ladder. And that's the reason why this whole reservation came about as an affirmative action that give them opportunities and uplift their socio-economic level. I'm not going to get into the political aspect of it, but I'll just talk a little bit about what people from the SC/ST category spoke about their experiences. So the dominant view is that people from the SC/ST categories are incompetent and get their degrees due to reservation. Now, yes, many would have availed the quota system, would have got admission through reservation, but to pass, there is no reservation to pass. They had to work hard to pass. So the reasoning which came was that we also have a lot of people who get into colleges paying capitation fees, right? And there again, it's almost similar. It's just that they had more money and they paid capitation fees. And all of these people who joined with a reservation, they had to slog it out to pass out of, especially colleges like IITs or any of our medical colleges. It's not easy to get out. You may get in, but unless you do well, you are not going to get out. So that was something which we got to understand. Also, it creates a lot of stigma which lasts forever. It's not like, you have gotten with a reservation and you finish your education, but that stigma that you've gotten through a quota stays for a long time. Also, I am aware that a lot of people from the general category also feel deprived that because of the reservation, they haven't got a fair opportunity, and that also creates a certain kind of discrimination and animosity between people who work together, who are from the privileged caste as well as from the SC/ST categories. It also impacts people in the private sector, even though private sector is not legally bound to hire people based on caste or create a quota system. And this comes exactly if people get to know. And typically in a conversation, one is asked, what's your name, what's your surname? The emphasis on surname is there. So that surname automatically creates a category of where does this person belong. And that unconsciously creates a sense of discrimination. There was a feel that there is a need to create jobs in the private sector, because if you do any kind of survey in your database, employee database, you may not see people who are representing all the castes fairly or equally. And there is a need. However, there is also a lot of fear that how is this going to be viewed and how is it going to be implemented. So there's no clarity on it. All of them felt that it can't be just because you're belonging to an SC/ST category or from the OBC categories. It has to be merit-based. However, merit and reservation, is there a possibility to do something? Coming to caste and workplace, these are some anecdotes. I'm just going to leave it here for you to see for a short while. So the first one is actually about, when they're discussing, we talk about various festivals, various religious things that we do at home, and majority of us in the workplace may find it similar. We would have similar experiences, but somebody who is from an SC/ST category or an OBC may not celebrate those functions, may not have those rituals. And there is a discomfort in actually revealing or just saying that I don't belong this or I don't celebrate this, because they have sensed in the past, may not be this workplaces like that, but in their growing up years, they have sensed discrimination, and therefore there's a fear of coming out. We talk about coming out at workplace when we talk of LGBT communities. It's the same thing here. We know of a lot of people who are very successful today at workplace who have hidden their identity as belonging to a certain caste till they have reached a certain level in leadership. And only then they have had the courage to come out and say that, okay, this is who I am, and now I'm ready to talk about my caste experiences. Even WhatsApp group, a lot of time, we have all kinds of good morning messages. We wish people for all festivals, but when do we ever see any wishes on Ambedkar Jayanti or anything where the community, these categories are celebrating a certain festival? The study brings out a lot of strong presence of microaggressions. They are not direct discrimination. And in fact, if I ask any of you, have you faced discrimination or have you noticed discrimination? Many of us will say that we haven't seen in our workplace any kind of discrimination. But it happens at a very micro level, which is why we are not able to see. Also, for those of us, and including me, we all have a caste privilege, and which also blinds us to these microaggressions that are happening around us. So simple things like they say there are tough, once the caste is outed, not otherwise. There are tough assignments which are given to them, or assignments are given without giving proper support. They're not invited for meetings. Any social out-of-office informal get-togethers, they are not called for. Formal, of course, it's compulsory. But suddenly you go for like after-office drinks or catch-up. You know, some pretext or the other, they are not called for them. And festivals which are celebrated, they are not called. And we found this more in people who were, this was shared more openly by people who had moved out of India. They shared far more easily. So the thing that, you know, to protect myself, I had to work really hard to prove our worth. And that's the only way to succeed, as we don't have any birth-based pride.